Hello, welcome. We're just letting the feeds fill. I just clicked the crying emoji then. I don't know why I would be crying or sad because it's Christmas. We're just letting the feeds fill, and I'm just going to share the show. And I encourage you to share the show too. If I can just get my hair out of my mouth. Doesn't taste very good. Doesn't taste as good as candy. Not that I would know because I haven't had candy for quite some time because I've been on a diet. Oh, yes, sir. So we're just letting the feeds fill. And I'm just sharing the show, making sure I don't share. I better put my glasses on. I shared it to some groups I shouldn't have shared it to last time, and I think that's maybe why I got banned from sharing in groups, because you can't share a political show in certain groups. But that's okay. I am being very careful today, though. I don't want to get banned again, because you only got to breathe in the wrong direction and they ban you. But there you go. That is the nearly. That is the beauty of Facebook and its bad treatment of conservatives. Hi to everybody. Yes, I wish it was pizza time. I will say hello to everybody individually. Once we've got started, we're just going to let the feeds populate just a little bit more, and then we will get started. Oh, yes, Ree, but can you believe it's like 4 days till Christmas? Wait, is that right? So that would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days, and Santa Claus is coming to town. But I'm not going to sing the song. Oh, no, I'm not. So we're going to get started now. I'm going to go to the studio page, and we're going to go to opening commercials in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello and welcome to the Xander Gibb Show. Welcome one and all, wherever you're watching or listening. Welcome to you. It is a pleasure. On today's episode of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. And no, it's not my mother's basement. Bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting. I'm Xander Gibb, because who else would I be? On today's show, I get on my soapbox for a change and give you the chance to get on yours and our phone in. Political commentator Mark Sutherland joins us to break down this week's hottest topics. And Tony Losacco, part of the can't even say the word anymore, part of the Xandermonium family, joins us to talk about his newest project. Now, you can have your say below in the live feed, and as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go. You can call in when we get to that section, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747 if you are in the United States. And if not, you can get me via Skype at Xander Gibb. Oh, yes, sirree. I will, of course, be back with Joe Messina on the real side, 7 Pacific time. You can follow me on social media everywhere but Twitter, because Jack is a stunted Chick-fil-A addict with a penchant for sex with vegetables. Allegedly. Oh, yes, sirree. I did say allegedly. You can sue me anyway, Jack. I really don't care. I don't have a nickel to scratch my butt on. Let's say a quick hello to everybody that is in the live feed. Hello to Ali. Hello to Ken. Hi to Dave. Hello to Gloria. Merry Christmas to you too. And thank you for your kind words. Dave says, let Swalwell in their general direction. No, not going to do that. Gloria's had a rough day. Sorry about that, Gloria. Ken says he loves the opening tune. That's actually written and produced by myself. It's called This Is Love, and it's from my album, which is called The Platinum Prequel. You can get that on, what's it called? iTunes. Hi to chat. Welcome. I'm going to get on my soapbox right now so we can indeed get on with the show. It's officially the end of democracy, folks. It's dead in the United States because the Democratic Party voted to impeach my president, Donald J. Trump, on charges that were not only unproven, but were basically a coup. So in a nutshell, for anyone living under a rock, what has happened is as follows. 3 senior Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, and John Kerry, in their infinite wisdom, got their kids jobs. And I use the word lightly as they were really token positions on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. Now, this was done in order to extract favors from the United States. So we already have fraud and dishonesty before we even go any further. Now, when Donald Trump found out even about this occurrence, he said to the then president of the Ukraine, if she felt that they had committed a crime, that he should look into it. Now, I'd even go so far as to say that the Donald was obliged legally to do so as the president of these United States. Now, the fact that they have gone so far to attempt to impeach the president of the United States in order to cover up their own crime spells out the end of democracy in our great nation. Now, Mr. Trump was quite right to have no part in their proceedings or to offer any evidence or even give any credence. This was the continuum of the witch hunt that we have become accustomed to since the day he threw his hat into the ring as a contender for president. Now, it is sad to me as someone that loves America to see this occurring. The country has been so much better under Donald Trump's leadership and his guidance. America has never been so good fiscally. Black unemployment at a 50-year low, but that's still not good enough for the Democrats. What we actually need to do now is pray that Bill Barr indicts every single one of these people involved in this despicable occurrence. Now, on top of this, as conservatives, we need to demand the impeachment of the top Democrats involved in this fraudulent behavior, as so much has been ignored to date. When will justice come for those Democrats who've broken the law? Bill Clinton has been on a 40-year rape spree and not a thing has been done. His criminal wife has defrauded the United States numerous times and not one thing has been done to her. She's left Americans to die in Benghazi. Numerous examples of dereliction of duty, dishonesty, and leaving America open to attack by process of her stupidity, but no prosecutions to date. My good friend Christian Saucier was in jail for a year. Plus, he also lost his liberty and was separated from his family for far less. I ask you today what a Democrat actually needs to do to be prosecuted. Now, under the law, they have systematically stolen from us, killed us, perverted the course of justice, ignored the Constitution, and ignored your choice at the ballot box. Oh no, my friends, this is far from over, and we need to stand up and fight the evil known as liberalism. I'm grateful to Donald Trump for continuing to fight for us, even though he and his family are systematically attacked at every juncture. His own personal fortune dwindles daily due to being president, and he is hated for merely trying to make America better. I urge you today to lobby Congress to have the criminal element of the Democratic Party removed. I guess that's every single one of them. Impeach every single one. Get rid of them. Get rid of the squad who only serve one purpose, to bring down the United States and its inhabitants. Now, if we have a nation of laws, those laws have to apply to everybody, as we do not have a two-tiered judiciary. And ignoring our laws just because you don't agree with them is most concerning. And such a double standard, it is time to get angry, folks, and fight back and challenge every which way we can the attacks on our very existence. America has a crucial job ahead to get Donald Trump reelected for a second term of office, because believe me, the left are set on trying to prevent that from happening. Now, the left-wing media, big idiots on social media, and preventing us from posting the truth, and the brain-dead liberals out there that believe everything that they are told. Now, I've said this before and want to emphasize this today. This is a war. This is a war against evil. The left are evil, and the likes of Pelosi and Clinton work for Satan. Put on your armor, my friends, and use everything at your disposal to protect yourself in this country. This is not just a disagreement between parties. This is a war between powers and principalities. Get mad, defend your constitutional rights, and I'm sure the Democrats will never win. Now, in other news, the UK police have quite rightly charged American Anne Sekulis with death by dangerous driving. I personally think it should have been the greater charge of vehicular manslaughter. Now, whether she will return to the UK or not to answer these charges is in doubt, as she's still claiming, quite wrongly, diplomatic immunity. Shame on you, Sekulis. Get yourself back to the UK and give the family of Harry Dunn some closure. Now, finally, I would like to extend my condolences to the Reverend Richard Coles, who is mourning the loss of his civil partner, the Reverend David Coles. Now, Reverend Richard previously said that people had been 99.999% lovely to him. And then a small but lively correspondence from Christians who wished him to know that his partner is in hell and that he will follow. Well, I'm here to tell you this, people. Don't dare call yourself a Christian while hating people. Remember, whilst maintaining the courage of our convictions, we must remain compassionate. Rest in peace, David, and rise in glory. That was my soapbox for today. If you'd like to get on your soapbox, you can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. And we will get you on the show. Oh, yes, sirree. Oh, yes, sirree. So welcome to everybody that's still with us. Welcome to everyone that's watching and not in the live feed. What do you know? What didn't go wrong about what, Gloria? So we got time for one call. If you want to call us, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States. And if you're in the United Kingdom, you can Skype me at Xander Gibb. That's 845-363-4747. Oh, yes, sirree. Let's see if we can get a caller. Hello to Pat. Welcome. I hope you are good. Much love to you. Yes, that woman definitely needs to be locked up, chat. Back up. Good now. I don't know where I went. I presume it's this new camera, this new very expensive camera that I am using. Let me just test this. Let's see if I go away again. Maybe you can tell me. Dave says his soapbox is broke. So I'm going to go back to the computer prompter like this. And do I disappear when that happens? Brian says the Senate needs to subpoena the articles of impeachment. And when Nancy doesn't comply, they should hold her in contempt of Senate and then draw up articles of impeachment on her. And Chet says the Democrats need to be impeached for good. Absolutely. Get them gone. They are the scourge of society, and they are a scourge on the United States of America. We've probably still got time for one more very quick call, 845-363-4747. I don't know why it's freezing. Maybe it's to do with the fact that it's bloody cold, or maybe it's to do with the fact that Facebook are interfering with the broadcasts of conservatives, and we know. You can also watch this broadcast on YouTube and several other places as listed as advertised. I can't even talk tonight. I really can't. It has been a very interesting week. I was very surprised that they tried to impeach President Trump. But what do you expect? I am really surprised that there are so many. We got time for one very quick call from my good friend Chet Martin. Are you there, sir? How are you?
I'm here, Xander.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. I just wanted to mention that what the Democrats did is very dangerous, aside from being un-American. What they've done is they've pitted the two parties against each other at odds. They'll no longer work together.
Right.
The next time a Democrat gets elected into the highest office of the United States, they're going to try to impeach him. They've already said that they will, the Republican Party, and I don't blame them, because this has been a 3-year-long Russia hoax. They're still talking about Russia right now. I thought we were over that already.
Yeah, what the hell next,
What's next is they're going to try to somehow hang this over his head, and they're not going to, clearly they're not giving the paperwork over. Nancy Pelosi said she's not going to. So we might end up in a civil war here. I think we're in one, a cold one, but it's about to heat up, I'm afraid.
But does this not speak into the fact of so many Democrat states wanting to remove guns from people? Do you not think that that's connected?
Yeah, sure, it's connected. You see what's going on with blackface governor over in Virginia, Northam.
Right.
He's talking about using the National Guard to go and round up people's guns and ammunition right now.
How is that possible to bring in the National Guard to take away people's guns that are a civil right? I mean, have Democrats ever read the Constitution?
No, the direct answer is no, they haven't. It's a wild and crazy thing. Sometimes I think what the Democrats do, Xander, is they'll dangle the carrot out and see how far it goes, I don't think they're going to ultimately end up going and rounding people's guns up with the National Guard.
No.
But they're going to see how far it goes, how society deals with it, how the public deals with it. Because a lot of these young millennials nowadays, they don't believe in our rights to free speech or to protect ourselves.
No.
They just don't, because it's not in the curriculum anymore. It's all happening because of the universities and the institutional learning facilities where all these kids get these horrible propaganda, communist thoughts, and then they run with it. So that's what he's doing, and that's what the Democrats are doing.
Well, it's a clear attempt to make countries into socialist countries and to add an element of Marxism. I mean, we just had a lucky escape here. We are very time-bound because my next guest is coming on any second. But tell us who you've got on your show on Sunday, Chet, and who is... and how they can watch your show.
Well, we're going to have Thomas S. Schmitz coming by, and he's on with you often, and we're going to talk about all this impeachment nonsense. And then we have Louisa Grieve, and she's for if I can say this right, Human Rights for Eulogy, and that's over in China. And what we're talking about is...
You mean China?
Basically the concentration camps they have for Christians and Muslims over in China right now.
Wow. Well, that's concerning. Well, listen, Chet, I hate to kick you off, but my next guest is in the queue to come on. But Chet will be with us next week. It's a Freedom on Deck takeover next week. We have Chet, and we also have, oh, God, my brain has died. What's his name?
Thank you, Xander.
Thanks a lot, Chet. Next week, we have both of them on the show. My next guest is... I'm trying to answer the call, but it won't let me answer. There we go. Maybe it'll let me now. Hi. My next guest is Mark Sutherland. He's an international political commentator, and he joins us now from the United Kingdom. Welcome back to the show, Mark. How is the world with you?
The world with me is very well, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with you, and thank you again, sir.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. It's bloody freezing here in the UK right now, isn't it?
Yes, we've got rain, we've got cold, and there is snow around, I believe, but I haven't been paying that much attention to it because our political intrigue has been taking our attention, sir.
Right, absolutely. Yes, it has been rather, whatever the word is, distracting. But in a very interesting way. So I'm gonna jump right in and hoping they don't lose the video feed. Um, you know what I've done? I've done this the wrong way around. Just one second. Let me just go to my notes because the teleprompter is. You see, this is the problem with live broadcasts. The teleprompter dies, and then you have to kind of refer to your notes. So the victorious Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the UK, won with an overwhelming majority. His victory was a statement of many things and spelled out a bright future for the UK. We're also a step closer to getting Brexit done. After his withdrawal agreement bill sailed through the Commons in its second reading, the bill was passed 358 votes to 234 this afternoon, a majority of 124. Now, Friday's vote has paved the way forward for remaining legal stages in both houses of Parliament before it's given royal assent in the new year, allowing the UK to leave the EU by January 31st. Now, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn had whipped his MPs to vote against the government after sections of the bill, including those relating to workers' rights or offering the sanctuary to orphans and unaccompanied children, were removed in its first reading in the Commons in October. So first of all, tell us, Mark, how your response to Boris winning, and then we'll go on to talk a little bit about Brexit.
But it's quite incredible because the bottom line is, as soon as the exit poll come out just after 10 o'clock on the eve of as all the voting booths were being shut by our polling stations, that was it. It just set the precedent. I think they said 368 seats for the Tories and 211 for Labour or something, and then I think it worked out at 203 seats and 365. It was incredible. What it has revealed is that the Labour Party have a major problem and could be out of power for many years.
Good.
And it's very interesting, which is good, as we've seen Tony Blair rounding, trying to go, well, basically, Mr. Corbyn, because you are a blatant Marxist, what do you expect?
Wow.
And we have seen the fact that within Islington, parts of Cambridge, other part, maybe Putney, other parts of London, the Champagne Socialists cannot join. They cannot join that part of their party with the North.
No.
And the big mistake they made was this. They turned around and said, all the people that voted for, voted to leave, you're all stupid, you're all racist, you don't know what you're talking about. So basically, they insulted most of the people that have traditionally normally voted for them.
Absolutely.
And of course...
And from the perspective of areas where, the area where I live in the UK voted overwhelmingly to leave, but the member of parliament for that, from my area, Melanie On, who's now lost her seat, basically said, no, I don't care about the will of the people, and I think it's better, I know better. And so many of these MPs have lost their seats because they failed to listen to the will of the people.
Absolutely. And we had a referendum in 2016. We then had another election in 2017. There was 2 votes. Then we had the European elections where the Brexit Party won virtually all the seats. And then we had another election. It's taken us 4 times for the Parliament to actually get it, where we've seen over the last 2 years, 75% of the MPs did not want to leave. And it's this whole discussion about Parliament. You've just given an example of your MP who basically says, well, I'm at Parliament and I am there to decide what I think is best. No, you're in Parliament to represent what your constituents have told you what they want, which was out, period.
Absolutely. And let's face it, you're not there as an elected representative to air your views. You're there to represent the views of your constituent. And in a way, I don't wish to sound mean, but I'm glad that she lost her seat, because I hope this actually teaches her and all of the others that went against the will of the people, that they were there to do a job and they failed to do that job. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, I'm pro Boris. Boris Johnson, who's the new Prime Minister, for those of you that are listening from the United States. I am pro Boris, but I have grave concerns about his deal. One of them being the fact that he said he wasn't going to pay a divorce settlement. There would never be a divorce settlement. He's now conceded to that. He's taking away some of the rights for the British people. Now, the thing is, for me, it's like if you've had an employee that you've fired, if they've made some good decisions and some good changes within your organization, you keep them. And there were a lot of good things that came out of the EU with regards to human rights and workers' rights, et cetera, et cetera. But to then try and get rid of some of these things that benefit people are of concern to me.
Yes, and I agree with you. I mean, the issue is that in many ways the deal is just as bad as Mrs. May's deal. This is a problem.
Yeah.
This is what we have got to keep an eye out for, and to see that curtailed. I mean, the other thing is, what is good is that he's putting through legislation, or has put through legislation to say that we're not having any extensions beyond December. We leave on the 31st of January. That's it. Then we have up until December to negotiate this trade deal. So we have really got to keep an eye on what is going on, and to bear in mind at the same time, the EU is threatening to kick out Poland. There is now a movement in regard to Spain to leave the EU.
Right.
That the EU is also imploding. The German economy is in serious trouble after being, told and warned for a number of years. And the economy and the whole of the EU superstructure just benefits German economy, period, anyway.
Exactly.
So,
but didn't we predict this? Didn't we predict that the EU would collapse once the UK? Because I think they believed that the UK was going to kind of stay. I think they thought that this was never going to happen. But we did predict that it was going to fall apart once the UK had left.
Well, yes, I mean, the Italian economy is in a bad way. I mean, there are movements within France for people to leave the EU. There are movements within Holland for people to leave the EU. We've only had to see the Gilets jaunes, constant protests, etc., about various things. So, and there's a link there in regard to, you look at what Macron has done with the diesel prices within France, and then we look at not that people are talking about it, but in Iran with something slightly different, but this whole thing of protesting, that people are going, no, we're not paying this, we're not having all these carbon taxes, etc.
Yeah.
So there are some major tremors that are going on, Xander. Absolutely right.
Absolutely. And I want to just go back a little bit to this divorce settlement. He said we shouldn't pay it. He said we weren't going to pay it. Now he's saying we are. That 388 billion that he's talking about paying to the EU, as far as I'm concerned, they've had enough money out of the UK over the years, so they can just, go, basically. That would do so much for the National Health Service, for infrastructure, for creating new jobs. Why still give them that settlement? They don't deserve it.
Well, I completely agree. That's why we've got to keep an eye. Maybe the whole thing is to get it through, know that we're going to be leaving on the 31st of January. That's it. We're going. And then after that, we could, maybe Mr. Cummings will have a chat with Boris and just say, okay, Bojo, now pull up the drawbridge.
Yeah.
Now start changing things. Now start ripping this up. And because technically on the 31st of January, we could just leave and then trade under WTO rules, Article 24, I believe, for about 2 years.
Exactly.
We need to show them that no, we're not having this.
Exactly.
All that.
But he's talking about still being under their rules for the next year. So does that mean they still get a payment every month? What does that mean? Because walking away means walking away. We should not still be under their rulings, because that's the whole point in leaving. I mean, come on, even the Queen is elated that we are leaving and she gets her sovereignty back. She gets her country back because it's been under the control of Europeans for so damn long.
Well, absolutely. You raised a very good point. Just to reaffirm that, 1973, when we joined the then common market, that erupted into now what is called the European Union from the European Community.
Yeah.
We lost our sovereignty, period, in 1973. That's it, period.
Now, won't it be interesting to see how much of this scaremongering comes true? Oh, we won't have any medication. Oh, we won't be able to feed ourselves. I bet the farmers cannot wait to be able to grow what they want when they want. They were letting food rot in the fields and losing money on it because of membership of the EU. So,
Well, you've got two strands, because a number of farmers would say that because of the subsidies from Europe, that's how the fact that they've been able to do so well and cope. I mean, the other thing is, and I have certain sympathy on that, but the other thing is, all the butter mountains we've had in the past, the wine lakes, the milk, and all that. We may need to be, quite rightly, paying more for our milk at the supermarket because it's literally just given away. We need to bear some of these things in mind while people then can actually run their lives and create a business, and we need to support it.
Absolutely, it's a very small price to pay. So I want to move on now because we are time bound. As I'm sure you're aware, it's official. The Dems have gone and impeached Donald Trump, and less than half of all Americans say that President Donald Trump should be removed from office. This presents a challenge for Democrats, who will seek to oust her in a U.S. Senate trial. Now, the survey found that the rare and highly contentious act by lawmakers has done little to change the minds in a divided country. Alcoholics Anonymous, Nancy Pelosi, the top Democrat in Congress, did you like that, had been initially hesitant to bring impeachment charges, I wonder why, against Trump, because she was concerned there would not be enough public support. When asked about the specific impeachment charges, 53% agreed that Trump abused his office and 51% agreed that he obstructed Congress. Some 42% of respondents, most of them Democrats, said Congress should carry out its ultimate sanctions and remove the president from office, as the Senate has the power to do. Now, the president all he did was what he was legally obligated to do, and was impeached for the privilege.
Well, the reason why they're trying to impeach him, they want to go forward with this, is because they have not got any decent candidates that can actually beat him as soon as he was elected, as soon as he was inaugurated. You could argue as soon as he won the presidency, they were talking about an impeachment, and within 9 to 19 minutes of when he was inaugurated, they were officially talking about that on various channels. They cannot stand him. It's the left. They want him out. They want him out. They want him out. He has done nothing wrong. There is no high crime, no misdemeanor at all. And that is what impeachment is about. Nixon, Clinton before, and then there was another president around about 1860 whose name has gone from me. So impeachment would mean that he will not be dragged away from the White House. And the reason why Nancy Pelosi is absolutely crapping herself, basically, is because the Republicans were not allowed to bring any witnesses to the Intel committee that Adam Schiff oversaw.
Right.
Now it's gone to, now if it goes to the Senate and Schumer's going, I'm not allowed to have witnesses. No. In other words, we're going to play you at the same game. And Mitch McConnell is actually discussing to completely and utterly dismiss it, to throw it out. They have done this because they cannot beat the man fair and square. They've got no policies because they are a bunch of communist, Marxist, socialists. That's it. They're all three.
Pretty much. The other thing I want to kind of, a lot of the English listeners will not get this, and I was listening to Jeremy Vine the other day, and what the British people don't seem to get is that the three top Democrats, as I said at the head of the show, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, and John Kerry, got their sons fictitious jobs in the Ukraine for favors in the United States, which is against the law. Why are we not investigating Paul Pelosi, Hunter Biden, and Junior Kerry? I don't know.
I completely agree, because when Biden says, says on TV, it was filmed, that we're holding $1 billion of US aid back until you get rid of a judge who's investigating my son, basically.
Yeah.
And my son was on Burisma earning up to $80,000 a month, a man that is not qualified to work in the energy industry whatsoever.
Right.
And it's a bribe. And so $4.48 billion of USA aid was going into the Ukraine, overseen by Biden.
Yeah.
Where has all this money gone?
Exactly.
What has been doing? And the only thing that President Trump, did wrong, according to them, was to ask Zelensky to investigate on behalf of the country, not him, not his personal needs, but on behalf of the country as he's president of the United States, to find out where the American people's money's going, what is going on. Plus, the rumor of, he didn't talk about this, but the DNC supposedly, there's a server floating around. There's also the interference in 2016 through the Ukraine in regard to the American election.
Exactly.
There is fraud, but just quickly, the Ukraine is the center. It's a bit like Victoria Station in London of transport. It's the center of energy pipeline transport. All these energy pipelines go through the Ukraine until recently, even though the Russia are building other ones straight to Germany, etc., and another one straight to Turkey to not go through the Ukraine. That is what is going on there. That's why it has been so crucial in the past. And there was a coup in 2004. There was another coup in 2014, and the one in 2014 where Newland goes in there and says, F the EU, I would tell them what to do.
Right.
There's a coup. And all of this has to be investigated, and they do not want any of this to come out, Xander, because then the previous administration of the 44th president of the United States, the whole mafiosa approach will then be
the house of cards.
Revealed.
The house of cards. You only have to take that one strategic card out, or maybe two, and it all comes tumbling down. And I'm hoping that's going to happen because, they forget. We now know, we can now prove that even Theresa May was involved in the Steele dossier. They've been trying to get Donald Trump from day one. And you know what? He says bad words. He talked about grabbing pussy in private conversation. Yes, I just said it. But do you know what? I would rather have somebody running my country that says a few bad words than does all this dishonest shit and gets away with it.
I agree with you. He loves the country. I mean, he's got to be wary of some of the people that he's got around him at times in regard to who he appoints. But also on the sort of civil service level, there is all these Obama carryovers who think that their responsibility is to resist the Constitution of America.
Yeah. You know what? My response to that is resist this. And I'm putting up my middle finger because I'm tired of this.
I couldn't agree more with you. And the bottom line is that as in a brilliant quote by Rupert Darnball in his book Green Tyranny, is the bottom line is that the 18th century Constitution of America is in the way of a massive societal change that the left want to bring about. That is what this is all about in regard to impeachment. We then look at what's happening in Bibi Netanyahu in Israel, look at what's been happening with us, these populist movements, quite rightly, with Bibi and Donald Trump, as though, well, we can get rid of them, then we can talk about, having a two-state solution in Israel. That's another subject. But
absolutely.
Look at what is going on around the world.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you there, Mark. We what we need to do is we need to do a 1-hour show, you and I, at some point in the future, and talk about U.S. And UK politics. Because there's a lot of interest. But can you tell people where they can find you? I've put your information on the Xander Gibb show page for today.
That's very kind. You can't find me on Facebook because I've been taken down 3 times.
Yes, they banned him again.
My website seems to have had a few problems. But basically, I would be delighted if people go on YouTube, look up my little film Between Lambs and Lions. I got a new film that we need to discuss about communism that's coming out. But my website, www.creativehubproductionslimited.com, find that. I will be very honoured if people would look at that. Go and find Between Lambs and Lions and share it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Mark Sutherland, international political commentator, a good friend of mine. He will be back very soon. Have a great Christmas, Mark, and you do take care.
And you. Speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye. My next guest is calling now. His name is Tony Losacco. And it's not letting me answer him. His name is Tony Losacco, and he is part of the Xandermonium family. Hello. I'm just doing your introduction. Let me just do that, and then we'll bring you on and talk some more. He is, as I said, part of the Xandermonium family. He used to be a co-host, and he joins us now from the United States to talk a little bit about his latest project. So welcome back to the show, Tony. How is the world with you? It seems like forever.
I know, Xander. I'm really happy to be back on your show. Been a busy beaver, and in these times, just trying to make a difference locally here.
Absolutely, because let me just share a little bit about a little bit of a preamble. Because you started with Youth Haven Ministries offering free services to young people in Pasco County, Florida. And in 2019, all of your community services were launched as Pasco Youth Haven. And you established a youth center for teens. And it's now called YHM. Tell us about YHM and tell us how this all came about.
Okay. Well, YHM still stands for Youth Haven Ministries, kind of like the YMCA, still
Right.
Young Men's Christian Association.
Yeah.
The thing is, we are believers, but we don't force our faith on anyone. We believe in just helping people and making a difference,
right.
Not in shoving religion down their throats or preaching to them. And that's the whole concept of the Teen Center. Is it's a place for all kids to come feel welcome and accepted. LGBTQ, Christian, black, white, straight, Republican, Democrat, whatever. It's just a safe place for all kids to feel loved and accepted and just a hangout, and at the same time we do some mentoring and life skills and try to teach them some things.
Wait, you let Democrats in? You let Democrats in? I'm joking.
Yes, we let Democrats in.
I'm absolutely. I'm joking. So you've done. I kind of feel like this has been prayed into existence because you started this with nothing, and you're surviving month to month, and you're actually kind of scraping by. Where is God in all of this?
Well, God's the one that gave me the vision over 20 years ago, honestly.
Right.
And this began with a vision. I was a youth pastor for many years. And here's the thing. I'm very much, as you know, politically a centrist. I think you know that from the previous things, on your show. And I also have strong libertarian leanings. So
right.
Here's the thing. I found two basic problems. I worked for I did a volunteer youth pastor for many years, youth ministry with the churches, right? And
yep.
The thing is, a lot of the kids were turned away because they didn't want to hear about God, and it was like you had to come to the event and hear the message and do what they said in order to, get the free apple pies or get the movie night. I didn't believe in that.
No.
But on the government end of things, as a social services worker, I'm not allowed to give kids hope and inspiration if they want it. I'm not allowed to tell them about God or give them the spiritual sense. And kids were falling through the cracks with the red tape.
Right.
And I was like, why can't we just have something where the kids that need the faith can be taught about God, can be taught a positive message about Jesus if they want to hear it. The kids that don't want to hear it can still be helped. And do the middle ground and just make it a place for all kids. Now,
Absolutely.
I thought that was going to be an easy sell, but it hasn't been an easy sell. You'd be surprised at the opposition I've gotten. It's like by trying to make a middle ground and please everybody, a lot of people are opposed to it.
I think you're always going to have opposition no matter what you're doing. But isn't part of this ideology that people are going to see, these kids are going to see a different approach, whether you're labeling that Christian or not?
Here's the unique thing about the program. We, for instance, have an LGBT club that meets. It's a student-led club, right? And on Sunday, we do a Christian youth group. It's a place for all kids, literally. We're going to start a basketball league for the athletic kids. We've got it's meant to be a safe place for all kids, no matter what they believe, what they're about. It's just meant to keep them safe off the streets and out of trouble. Now, my faith very much plays into that. I've gotten flack from a lot of Christians that say, well, you're not preaching the gospel there. You're not doing this and that. I'm living out my faith. Jesus helped people. And that's the thing.
Right.
He said, love your neighbor as yourself. And the thing is, by showing kids unconditional love, by giving them a place to go, that is Christianity to me. That's my faith. And, as far as the libertarian end goes, we don't have a cent of grants from the government or anything because there's no bureaucratic red tape. Everybody there is a volunteer just like me. We rely on the donations and the funding. I got 2 full-time people that work Monday through Friday out of the goodness of their heart just
Wow.
to make a difference in kids' lives.
Wow.
Because you know what? I still believe the best about this country. I believe that the average person, when they really hear it's to help other people, will get off their butt. I don't know if I can say that A word on your show, and actually do something to help. We've got a professional artist and a professional actress that volunteer their time once a week, a professional musician to do music lessons for the kids. And that music guy, at first, he was completely opposed to it. He wanted to know what the catch was, what the string attached was. When I finally showed him the place, convinced him that it was just to help kids, he's like, I'll do that.
Absolutely. And surely there's something that everyone can do, whether that be to donate a couple of bucks or to buy you a box of biscuits or to go to the cash and carry, buy you a thing of coffee. There's something everyone can do, right?
Absolutely. Like we had a lady, one of the parents baked Christmas cookies for the Christmas party. Well, you know what? That was money I didn't have to take out of my own pocket because we didn't have the money to buy them. We have some people that dropped off random stuffed animals. And, at the teen center, we weren't able to use them, but we were in the Christmas parade. So you know what? We had our kids give out the donated stuffed animals for the children in the Christmas parade. See, it's all about that sense of community and paying it forward. Like whatever you can give, because the future is in our youth.
Right.
And, things haven't changed that much from when I was a kid. You asked how it all got started? I grew up in a hick town in upstate New York. Not the city, but upstate.
Right.
I had nothing to do, when I was a kid. Yeah, I would have loved the teen center. Just a place to go hang out with friends.
Absolutely.
And that's the magic of it.
I credit part of me staying on the straight and narrow to a guy called John Ellis, who is here in the UK, and he has run this youth project, for about 40 odd years, called Shalom, and really it gave us a place to go, because when we were there, we weren't kind of smashing car windows and robbing phone boxes and the light. So it's an older tradition, really. But what I want to kind of really find out from you is what kind of people are coming along, and how are you able to help them?
Okay, well, the demographics really changed, honestly. In the beginning, when we were a very small place, we started with maybe 2 or 3 kids, right?
Right.
And we were a Christian ministry that welcomed LGBT kids and just gave them a place to hang out, and they didn't have to hear a word about God. We had a large population of that community come in, and one of the kids actually came back afterwards, and they said, because they know I'm a counselor by trade, a few months later they came in and they handed me something. They're like, I want you to know, I couldn't tell you at the time, this place saved my life. I was suicidal. I had my suicide planned out and my note ready.
Wow.
But I had a place to go, and this changed me. We've got at-risk kids that got kicked out of school there that come in, but we have the average family, big family of 5 that comes in where the kids are just looking for a place to sit and play video games. So we have a mix. It truly is a place for everybody, and the most magical thing about it is I'm a mental health counselor by trade. I do more therapy and make more of a difference there talking to those kids as a friend and as a mentor.
Right.
And I hear things that they would never tell me as a counselor.
No.
Horror stories, some of them.
Wow.
And that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to be a place where caring adults can connect with kids. And just like you said, you went through it when you were a kid. You can just pay it forward and give back to that kid now that's going through it from your experience. That's
Absolutely.
what it's all about. And then in turn, they'll go around, 20 years from now and say, hey, that youth center, yeah, let me tell you about that place.
Exactly. Ken is asking in the live feed, he wants to know where in upstate New York you're from, because he's from Poughkeepsie.
Well, he'd consider it downstate. I'm from Orange County, a small town called Warwick, New York, by West Point in the Hudson Valley there.
There you go. So what kind of things what kind of events what activities are you offering for your kids?
Well, the main thing that we are is a drop-in center from 2 to 6. We're a block away from the high school, so we don't have a whole lot of organized activities, to be honest, because it's meant to just be the hangout place.
Right.
We do special events every month. Like once a month, we do an open mic and a karaoke night. We do free haircuts for the kids once a month. We've had free concerts. We had a hip-hop concert, a rock concert for the kids, Halloween party, Christmas party. So we try to do 2 or 3 special events per month. It really is a staffing issue because we're all volunteer, so we don't have any funding to hire people. So as we get volunteers, I'm hoping to do more activities and offer it. Like, Monday would be Twister night, and Tuesday street hockey, and Thursday this. But right now we're not at that point yet because we started with nothing. Literally, I mean, everything we got was donated from people in the community. The space is donated. We're all volunteers. I mean, this was started. You want the definition of grassroots? This is it.
Right.
Usually, grassroots in this country, as you know, means political action committee.
Well, it just occurred to me. There's something even I can do for you. I don't actually even have to be in the country to do it because I have a webcam and a mouth. So maybe I could do some podcasting workshops with your guys in the future.
Well, that would be great. Actually, that's one of the things I want to get into, Xander, is a lot of the kids today, let's face it, we get complaints from the adults. Well, all you have is these video games. So that's what kids are into, technology. Right. We're in a different generation. I want to eventually teach the life skills and have it where the kids can go on the computer and learn how to open a checking account and do things like that because they don't want to sit through a class anymore. I mean, we've tried it. We've had classes, anger management, life skills. We get 1 or 2 kids. They don't want to sit through that, but if it's on the computer and accessible to them, you know what? They need to learn it. They're going to learn it one way or the other, and that's something I really want to get into with having those things accessible to them online. We're not just there as a hangout or even just mentoring, but we're actually doing some teaching of real things they need.
Right.
How to change a tire. Some kids don't even know how to pump a tank of gas, believe it or not.
Wow. Yeah, I never pump my own gas. I just... No, I'm not going to ever do that. Are you getting any help from the local authority? Are they giving you any money?
No, the city is supportive, but they haven't given us any money.
Right.
But they've kind of looked. Let's put it this way: the city could have been a lot more difficult. They're very supportive. They could have strictly enforced a lot of regulations. And they're cutting us a lot of slack.
Good.
The police are very supportive of it.
Good.
So they've been wonderfully supportive given our lack of expertise and experience, So I can't say anything bad about them. But once again, we don't have the magic funding of the city of Newport Richey or the county of Pasco or anything like that. I wish. Local businesses haven't even really kicked in yet. They're on a wait-and-see approach. We've only been open since April of last year, and I thought magically once we opened we were going to get local business sponsors. That hasn't happened yet. We just got our first donation a year later. Wow.
Well, we have to talk privately about that, and maybe I can give you some assistance with that too.
That would be great.
Now, all of Tony's contact information for YHM. I like that. I actually, when I first saw YHM, I thought, I wonder if that's Yahweh. But no, it's not. It's youth. But all of Tony's information regarding YHM is on the Xander Gibb Facebook show page for today. You can even click on the donate link. And even if you look on my page today, there's a donate link with regards to the show. So if you can give something, no matter how small, or if you live near Tony and you've got some skills and you'd like to offer them, or you'd even like to, buy a pack of biscuits for the place, please get in touch with Tony. You can find him on YouTube, on Facebook, as he still calls himself Anthony Losacco, and he's in my friends list. So
Yes.
go and check him out. He is part of the Xandermonium family, and we do wish him every luck with his new venture. But for now, thank you so much for joining us, Tony, and give my love to Kiko.
Thank you, Xander. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Take care. That was Tony Losacco. Make sure you go and check him out and check what he's doing over there at YHM. I love it. It's getting very kind of hip. I'm with it, with all the young guns. Oh yes, sirree. Well, we are at the end of the show. There will be a show next week, even though it's Christmas week, because I know a lot of you out there enjoy your Friday nights with me. Chet says he thinks Joe Biden drinks gas. And Gloria says she would love to learn how to podcast. And she said she could help to teach photography too. So make sure you contact Tony and he will discuss that with you further. On next week's show, it is a Freedom on deck takeover. We have I have my two guests are Chet Martin and CV Burton, and we are going to be talking all things 2019 to see the year out. Stick around and watch me on The Real Side with Joe Messina, 7 Pacific. I can't even think. 7 Pacific. That makes it 9 Central at about 3 a.m. in the UK. When everybody will be sleeping, but you'll be able to watch it tomorrow. I want to wish you all a very happy Christmas. Thank you, Ken. I want to wish you all a very happy Christmas. If you are able to give a meal to someone else over this period, please do so. Check in on your elderly neighbors and just show a little compassion. I want to thank you all for all of your support this year. I want to thank you for keep coming back to the show. And if you didn't get me a Christmas present, I'm not going to make you feel guilty, because what you could do as a Christmas gift to me right now is click that share button, because everyone seems to be a little allergic to that. Not had your fill of the Gibster, that's me. You can catch me on The Real Side, as I said. Make sure you share the show. I'll be back next week, 3 Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, and 11 in the UK. And you know what, guys? I really do love you all. Merry Christmas. I'm not going to sing to you. Shall I? Shall I sing to you just very quickly? Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Happy Christmas to you all. Stay safe. Be back next week. I really do love you all. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, sirree.